Welcome back to the Hit the Turnbuckle podcast, NWA Hard Times Part 3. This week, we're going to get into all of that and more, of course, with me, your host, Adam Cousins. And it wouldn't be an NWA review show without my illustrious co-host, Miss Fiona Loughran. Afternoon, Fee.
I know, it's 12 o'clock. This is unusual, but yay for being unemployed and being able to do stuff like this at a normal time.
Yay for being on lunch. Work. Look, we'll get into NWA Powerr in a minute, but we were talking about something last week and we were wondering when an announcement for NWA 77 was going to be happening. And literally about a day after we spoke about it, it was indeed announced. NWA 77 on the 16th of August from the Paramount in Huntington, New York. Tickets are on sale and now at NWALiveEvents.com fee, but it's finally
That,
here.
that's exciting. I'm looking forward to this. I've seen and heard on the grapevine from a few people that I know that are going to be there in attendance. So I know they've not announced any matches yet. But yeah, this is exciting. And the big anniversary shows are always a good one. So I'm looking forward to this. God knows when we'll see it, but part of me is like, if the new thing with Roku's up and running, are they going to go back to live events? But that's a whole different story because no one still has come back and said whether we're able to access Powerr when it airs or not. So
Which generally
disappointing, guys. Really disappointing.
and normally when they say that and they don't come back to us, it generally means we can't get to it, at least via without us using VPNs anyway, which may be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. But 2 months to the day, literally, no, 2 months near enough to the day. NWA 77 should be exciting. Tickets are already starting to go. I saw.
Yeah, I had a quick look last night actually. It's looking good already. So it looks like a good setup as well from what I can see from the map of the venue. So and it's quite a big venue. I had a look to see what other events were coming on. There's a few bands play there. They obviously host concerts and various bits and pieces. So
Cool.
yeah, exciting times.
Exciting times indeed. Right, let's get on with Hard Times Part 3. Well, we go back to the Inspire workshop to start things off, and this week it was all about gold and all about what you fear most. This week we had Mims, who was like, "It don't fear anything," so that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Tyler Franks said he's afraid of the person that he looks at in the mirror because he knows what damage he can cause.
He looks like a very different person in the ring from the one that you see. I think with the he's like a Clark Kent. You take the glasses off, and it's like, who's that?
But we'll get more of Tyler Franks in a minute, actually, because he'll be in action on Powerr. Kenzie Page is just afraid of drowning in her success.
She's so humble.
Oh, no ego at all about Miss Page. Jeez. And then her fiance behind him was afraid of going bald, Hunter, mainly because of his apparently shape of his head.
Random, but fair enough.
Hunter, I can assure you there's nothing wrong
Chrome Dome.
with going bald. And in fact, although mine is through choice, it would probably be really thin, but it is through choice than anything else. Tiffany Nieves is afraid of the entire locker room destroying themselves due to the insecurities over her being the best at everything.
Another very humble human being.
Certainly humble. And I was surprised that behind Tiffany Neves during this workshop was the man himself, Mr. Latimer, who is literally afraid of nothing because he is on top of the mountain.
He is indeed. He's currently in the UK at the moment as well on a little tour doing seminars and shows and stuff, which is cool.
He is. Galaxy, if anyone's watching, get him a Galaxy bar.
He's going to go home with a suitcase full of chocolate.
Oh, of course he is. But look at him; he's etched out of stone, so he can probably. The good thing is with the sun at the moment, he's got a good chance of topping up that bronze tan.
Yeah, like he needs it.
Yeah, he doesn't need it anymore. But I mean, it's all ready for him over here, and hopefully he has a great tour. Coming over, if you want to see him, there's a couple of shows I've seen him announced at.
Yeah, he did Target at the weekend as well, which apparently was a really good show up in Carlisle. I'm not sure where else he is. I have seen some seminars that he's taken, so that's cool. Well worth that if you're in the area. Well worth going to go and check out either the seminars or the shows.
Definitely.
Go and see that beautiful belt.
Go and see the beautiful belt. Yes, certainly sure. And I say, if you do go, bring him Galaxy. If you want some extra brownie points. Right. So that was the Inspire workshop done for now, at least. Anyway, and we get into action, and it was six-man tag team action to begin Power. The Lost, Alex Misery, Lev, and Gags. So seemingly Gags is away from Mitchell now.
I think that whole thing's just disbanded completely.
Certainly seems to be. They were going against Size Maz, Eric Smalls, Sam Stackhouse. Jesus, he's a man. And Tyler Franks, funnily enough. Yeah.
This was the most bizarre combination of six people I've ever seen. But do you know what? The match was nuts and it was fun. Like, I thought this was a great opener for the show.
It actually
It was
really is.
crazy.
It was. I did love the bit where they all tried to drop kick right at the start. One of them tried to drop kick Stackhouse. He squatted him away. The other one tried to drop kick. Who was it? Tyler Franks, and he kind of squatted him away. Then Gags tried to drop kick Smalls and seemingly forgot that Smalls was very small and kind of
Missed, pretty much.
uh, which was you're right. This was actually a bundle of fun, despite, as you say, probably the most bizarre six people, six totally different characters that you were going to get in this. I did like it, especially I liked it when the likes of Misery got in the ring there. Stackhouse was showing once again that he can pull out some crazy moves. When he
He
was going
nearly
to,
dove through those ropes at
oh my
one
God.
point.
Yeah, I was just literally about to say that he hit the ropes and he was going to dive. I don't quite, yeah, I'm glad they
Well,
stopped him.
if it wasn't for Lev and Misery getting the elbows in as he was just about to come through, he would have been right through. Like that was just crazy. But poor Smalls took an absolute beating in the first half of this match.
He did. Poor Smalls indeed. The only thing I did pick up on that did, I think, go a little bit away was there was a spinning wheel kick from Stackhouse that he kind of
We
missed.
missed the first one, but he
Yes.
got the second one.
Oh,
He
he got
landed the
he got the second one. Jeez.
that really caught me off guard. Like the fact, like I was like, he's not, and he went for it the first time, and it didn't connect. But I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
That I was quite impressed by that. Not gonna lie.
He's quite again for someone that weighs 500 pounds. He he's got some agility about him. You wouldn't necessarily, no disrespect to him, but you wouldn't you look at him and go, he's not going to be able to do some of these things that he does moonsaults and stuff like that. I mean, they
Yeah,
look as bad. I mean, they look, we've seen
you
him
want
do it.
to, you want to be, you wouldn't want to be lying on the canvas with that coming through the air at you. Let's be honest.
Absolutely not. I don't think I would like to be anywhere near a ring with Sam Stack. Being in the ring with him because he is. You called Pretty Boy Smooth a mountain the other
Yeah,
last
I
week.
don't really know what the equivalent of that for Stackhouse would be.
Yeah, it's just
But
he's
there were
just
some really, really cool spots in this, like the springboard from
yeah,
Misery onto Tyler and Tyler catching him
yeah.
for a start. I was like, that's pretty athletic. That there was a lot of spots in this match that I was like, that's good. And that's I think for me to have an opener like that just kind of goes, right, okay, this is gonna be a good show.
Yeah, it really did. It set the tone for the power itself. I do like Misery. I think that there's something about him and to a degree Tyler Franks. We didn't see too much of Tyler, but we did see,
Mm-mm.
near the back end. We saw a little bit more of him.
And
But
unfortunately, it was Tyler that ate the pin as well.
it was he ate the tombstone pin from Misery. Although I would say that I think he landed more in his hands. The camera maybe didn't cut away enough, and you could see. But
Yeah,
doesn't matter. I mean, that is a very tombstone's a very well thingy move. A very sort of what's the word? Dangerous, really, if you land on it incorrectly. So it was well placed for both of them. But you're right. Misery picks up the win on that. But I do think. Maybe, I don't know, maybe next year. I don't know. Obviously, we are halfway through the year now. Alex Misery could be a breakout for the NWA.
definitely want to watch.
He has got a lot about him that I really, really like. And listen, Lev would see a bit more of Lev, hopefully, as well, because they put on some good
Yeah, I
matches.
don't feel like we saw much of him in this.
No, we didn't. It's a bit like Tyler Franks. I say we saw Tyler Franks near the end of the match. I think he even tagged himself in at one point as Stackhouse was looking to wrap up the match. I think Stackhouse was looking to go to the top rope or the ropes at that point, and Tyler tagged himself in. But what I would say, just as in general about the show, we saw a couple of the territory guys, Tyler Franks being one, and we'll get into Brandon in a minute that we saw. So good to see them guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Power the Future of the NWA. But the Lost picked up the victory. I'm surprised. It's the first match I've seen Gags win. Well, at least one of them in the 2 years that I've been watching.
There you go.
He
First
doesn't.
time for
He
everything.
hasn't got horns anymore, apparently, on his mask. They were picked that up in commentary. They were saying about it.
Okay, I didn't clock that.
I didn't until they said it. But anyway, the Lost pick up a victory on NWA Power. And then we go to Dauphin today, a news report with
This segment I could have left out, to be honest with you.
So Chelsea's back. So those of you that remember, she tried to interview Joe Kazana a week or two ago, I think it was now, after winning the presidency. He had a broken jaw, he said at that point, because he was punched, I think, in the mouth. But anyway, she tries to talk about the traffic and the construction and the roadworks in Dauphin. And Joe Kazana comes in, interrupts her, apologizes time again. Chelsea's like, look, well, I'm trying to do a live report here. We're live. I'm trying to report about the traffic. Joe wouldn't have anything. She does accept his apology. And again, then Joe starts talking about Chelsea belittling him. And he turns around and apologizes to Dauphin.
And apparently he got yelled at by Billy as well for being incompetent.
He
This is
did.
not filling me with hope about his presidency.
No. Well, again, he's got a lot of debt to repay as well back, hasn't he? On top of that, but a shaky start for Mr.
Yeah.
Kazan.
I just feel like this was a little filler that maybe could have been filled with a few extra matches, like a few extra minutes with matches instead. But there's obviously a story going on in the background or whatever. They're obviously doing something with Joe Kazana, but I was kind of like, this is a little bit pointless.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion on that, though.
Yeah, it wasn't needed. For this. As I say, maybe there is a bigger picture, and we'll get, and in the coming weeks we'll get to that bigger picture, whatever that is. But yes, he did apologize. It was accepted. Billy wasn't happy with him from last time, so hopefully Kazana has smoothed things over there. Although I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I can imagine next week we'll be having another Dauphin today. Advert, shall we say, or promo. But moving into the next match, which it was a debut for me, but apparently he's been on the scene for
Yeah, so I never seen Slicks before, but as they pointed out in commentary, he took part in the Worlds of Vampire Tour, Australian wrestler who's now moved over to the States. So if he did such a good run on the tour, then it makes sense that he's there and he's on the shows, and it's good for the rest of us to see new faces as always.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. And he was taking on the former Fixer, Jay Bradley. In this, is he? I don't mean this disrespect. Is Jay Bradley got lean, or is it? Or have I just not?
He looked great last night. I think he's been working hard. He looked fabulous last night.
Because I could have sworn him and Wrecking Ball were not say the same size, but they were quite close.
Jay Wrecking Ball was always a larger human being. Jay definitely has leaned.
Yes. Out. Yeah, and he looks great for it, by the way. I wasn't being disrespectful to him at all.
I love his hair. I love his mohawk.
Yeah, the mohawk. He come bearing a chain, obviously.
Again, this is becoming a thing for him.
Yeah, it certainly is, and probably where they're going with that, we'll see in the future on NWA. I tell you what, though, Slex was impressive in the time that he had in this one.
Yeah, I like this. This was pretty hard hitting, and two big guys. They kind of really went for it. Like they took it outside the ring. They battered each other about. I thought this was a really, really fun singles match.
I did like it. I mean, I hadn't seen Slex before. He's got a good look about him as well.
Well, that's it, because I think for me, on a personal level, sometimes if it's someone I don't really know, it's not that I zone out, but I'm not quite as invested in the match or whatever. I'll watch it, but not maybe if it was like Jay and Legursky fighting each other, because I know both of them and I've seen their work. somebody else might say, well, you don't know them, so you would be more. But sometimes if it's someone I don't really know anything about, I'm kind of like, no, whatever, and don't pay that much attention to
Yeah.
it. But I really like this.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was great. You kind of had, although Slex had a big look about him, he could move as well. He could move
Mhm.
around. He done a lot of. There was a bit of piece of that in there. Jay Bradley did pick up the victory with a hell of a lariat, shall we say? It wasn't just a lariat.
Nearly knocked Flex's head off, man. That was huge,
Yeah,
huge.
he put him to well, I say put him to sleep with it. It was an incredible clothesline from Jay Bradley. Did try again with a chain. I think I know where we're going with that later on down the line, but there was no wrecking ball. But interesting point made by Billy on comms that he was going to suspend Jay Bradley, but wrecking ball told him not to.
I know.
I think we're not finished there.
I know Deals was it Deals that was up for getting him suspended as well. So Deals was good on commentary last night. I thought Deals popped me a couple of times last night.
Deals was on form as ever on commentary with his wacky, trying to give us an excuse for things. I think he was, well, I can't remember in the first match they were trying to ask him about something or other, and he was brilliant. He was great though. Deals is always good on comms. We go back to the Inspire workshop now. Yeah, for those of you that have got a mind, and you can kind of read in between the lines, this was, well, I'm not quite sure if the speaker and Tiffany Nieves were on the
The
exact
same
same
page.
page here. Tiffany was talking about going one-on-one with the speaker, and he was saying about how good he is at meditation and all of this sort of stuff. And I think there was a few wires crossed. I think the
Certainly looked like it.
yeah, I think Vic, which is his name, thinks he's in with Tiffany. I've got Tiff. I think Tiffany thinks maybe there's something else going on. Like, she's got something else on her mind rather than that. But it's going to be
I'm
bueno.
sure we'll find out soon enough.
Well, maybe. But then the whole thing at the end just totally kind of goes another direction. But yeah, there's loads of ways that the speaker Vic can help Tiffany, and I think she said that it's going to be bueno, whatever it is.
I have no doubt.
I hope that the first bit's Kinder.
Oh, I love a Quinta Breno.
We will have a Kinder Bueno on this. But what the hell is going on with that? We'll have to wait and see. It's another wacky segment on the NWA, which is still cool because there is a story now to be told.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for. We move towards the main event of the evening on Powerr. The Temple of it's the Indiana Jones theme sort of
Temple
music.
of Doom, but Duum.
Yes.
And I just want to call them the Temple of Dumb just because of
Done.
how it's spelled. But
Yeah, I have that in my head quite a bit on there. Stone Rockwell and obviously Beast Man, who is a beast man.
quite
Bit,
literally.
it's a bit like the over man because he's over man. He's beast man because he's a beast man.
You better be careful with that. EC3 might not be happy about that.
Yeah, I better not do that anymore. They were going against Brandon Barretta, who you can watch on this show. Just go down to the two. I can go down to the special guest ones or the Talking Territories playlist.
More about that. I'm going to come back to that actually. More about that later.
We will revert back about that, but you can go and see that interview. It's interesting. Lots of stuff has happened since we've had a rebuttal since as well. But his partner was the Baron. We hadn't seen him in a while.
We haven't seen him in a while.
The menacing.
Interesting tag team combination.
It's like
But
teaching.
if you remember, Barretta was in the ring back in Forney, back at what was the name of that taping? I can't remember now.
Shockwave?
Back in January, Shockwave, yeah. So Barretta was involved in that whole situation back in January. So interesting. I popped for Joe's comment as Barretta and Baron get in the ring, and he's like, "Look at all this man in the ring." I just laughed so much. He's not wrong, to be fair. I was like, "Yeah, you've got a point."
Yeah, he certainly does. It's kind of like a teacher-student thing, but Brandon did say that he is strictly business, and that's when we was talking. We briefly spoke about partnering with Baron on the show, and I like again. This was another interesting because I've never seen Brandon before. This apart from there's been a few times. He's been a few times. He's one of the Exodus 6 goons as he put out there
He is the waistlock king.
Oh, he is. Geez.
He
You
said
know?
he was. He said waistlock after waistlock after waistlock, and he is not wrong.
Oh, he isn't wrong. He done a load of those waist locks in this. He got a good gut outing in this. So where Tyler wasn't sort of in there until the end, he was pretty
Yeah,
in there from the start. Brandon. And he was, he took a brunt of a beating as well a little bit, but he did eventually make the tag to the Baron. And of course, as soon as the Baron gets tagged in, the hand goes up and everyone just darts away at the thought of the claw. Which well, I did like the fact when he got tagged in though, I think he punched Rockwell and Brandon German suplexed him, which I thought was a nice touch.
yeah.
And that's when the claw was first tried to be applied and fouled to be applied. But eventually Beastman gets in.
And then it cuts to a break.
Well, this was the thing that annoyed me. Beastman gets in, he hits the crossbody, he comes. They have like, oh, we're going to be back after the breaks. I thought, cool. I waited for they've done the power taping in July. They come back from the break. Beastman hits a headbutt, a splash in the corner, a cannonball. They do
A
their
huge
finisher.
cannonball.
Yeah. Oh, that was a sick cannonball, by the way.
Yeah.
Then he tagged back in Rockwell. They hit their finisher, and that was it. Literally as quick as I
Strange
just said it.
place for my thoughts on the ad breaks in the middle of the matches, but that just seemed a strange place for this one when there was literally only like a minute to go.
Yeah, it really was. To be fair, what they could have done was do it after the entrances.
Yeah.
And then let us have the rest of the match because it threw me because I was sat there, I was like, oh, I didn't
Is
think it was
that
going
it?
to be. I thought initially that maybe Brandon had got hurt and he couldn't kick out. Not that he did
Mm-hmm.
kick out the finish, and I thought maybe that was the case, but clearly no, it wasn't because he was fine. Because straight after that, the Baron comes back in as the Beast is having his treat for winning the match on the
And
outside.
Rockwell has no idea that he's there.
No, Rockwell is oblivious to the fact that there's this big ass guy behind him at that point. And at that point, the Baron, as he turns around, the Baron puts him in the claw. And he got the beast who, once he's finished his bone or whatever he's eating on the outside of the ring, turns around, tries to yank Rockwell out. You're not getting him out while
Mm-mm.
that is locked in. And Brandon comes back in with the globe.
Yeah,
Eventually, because he did shake his head a few times, the Baron with the
he
globe.
did. He did. He wasn't really up for letting go at all, was he?
No, but eventually he does. And that is how power ends. Although he does get a chant of claw, claw, claw going now when he raises his hand. But
Which Danny's trying to get banned.
yes, Danny Deals is trying to get the claw banned from action.
I'm glad Billy's not on board with that.
Oh, I bet he made a point. Fritz von Erich and everyone else that had the claw before.
Yeah,
There's a reason for the claw to be banned. It's a perfectly legal hold.
absolutely.
And it's just the thing that Baron's got strong hands.
Indeed.
And that is it. But it's not the end of power. We go back to Bit Crush, whatever Bit Crush is. Randomly in there, buying an Xbox game, I believe, was
Kratos.
Kratos, which I was just like, what the hell is he doing there? In pops,
Hey, everyone's a gamer at heart.
yeah, maybe. In pops Tiffany Nieves. She goes over to the guy at the till. Do you watch wrestling? Are you the guy? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. And he wanted to know if Tiffany has any tag team aspirations. I got a bit confused at this point because
Mm-hmm.
they mentioned that Tiffany was the champion. She is. But she also mentioned she's got a championship match coming up. Now, I wasn't sure whether this was a championship match for her championship, where she's defending, or a tag title match, which she's going to be in. They didn't really
Yeah.
state the match. But anyway, she said that she'll be a tag champion soon. And the clerk, the guy behind there, writes something down. And he said about go to speak to Miss Star,
Manager of champions.
manager of champions. Yep, she is. And the Star will be there. And then Kratos decides and says, what do you know? What like have you ever been in a ring? Have you ever been punched? Have you ever done this, done that? He said no. We completely wasting her time. Then what? And then they both leave.
Yeah, interesting. Almost like a little alliance thing going on there, which is strange.
I can't see Tiffany Neves going Aru anytime soon.
I don't know. It's another one of those little segments that make you go, what the hell's going on here? And
But
is it going to lead to something,
yeah,
or
I was
is
gonna
it
say,
going to be one of these ones where they do a couple and then they vanish and disappear and you never see the end of it?
it's literally one end of the spectrum to the other, isn't it? We're either going to get what you just said there, or it's going to lead to something. Because that whole thing with Kenzie's kind of dialed off a little bit.
And we haven't seen Miss Star in so long either. This is bad, but I'd actually forgotten about her.
When was the last time we saw her? Was she tag?
Exactly. I'd
Who
actually forgotten about her until it was mentioned in this segment.
who tag teamed with Ella Envy? Was it Sam? Was it Star? It was Star, right?
Was it? It was Sam, I think, at one
It
point.
was,
I
wasn't it?
can't remember, but I feel like it's been a long,
Oh,
long
it
time
has
since we
been a
saw
long
Miss
time.
Star.
Didn't they last time we saw her, they dropped the titles to Big Mama and Kenzie Page?
Yeah,
What
so
was
that
that?
was a while back. Was that it? Was that it, Shockwave?
Yeah, I think it was one of the earlier Shockwave.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's been a long time.
very long time since we've seen.
It's that
She'll be,
whole out of sight, out of mind thing, isn't it?
yeah, well, she'll be back by the
Sadly.
sounds of it. Miss Star will be back by the sound of it soon, with any luck. But that wraps up part 3 of Hard Times. Part 4, obviously, next week.
Yeah.
And we're going to have our 100th Power show soon, I think.
Oh, that's exciting.
A couple of weeks' time. First week,
That's exciting.
first week in July. Is our
But
Power.
can we go back to Brandon Barretta, please?
Yes, you wanted to discuss a bit more about Mr. Beretta, so the
Yeah.
floor is yours.
So if anybody, obviously you're aware of it, but if anyone's been following us on Twitter or X, I should say, or Instagram, obviously Brandon had allegedly called out um NWA Texas and called out Izzy James because
But
apparently
Izzy
Izzy had
James
already
called him
called
out
them out.
first, wasn't
It's been a little bit of back and forward. Anyway, we've had Izzy on the podcast last week and it's dropped this week. And Izzy had some strong words to say for Barretta. And now the only match I want to see is Izzy James versus Brandon Barretta. Like, jokes on it. They're territory guys. You have to make this happen because I want to see it. I don't care about anyone else. I want to see it.
They've gone a bit. See, this is the thing. I mentioned this when I put the short out there of Izzy James responding to Brandon, and I tagged in the guys from the NWA and Joe Kazana and said, "You need to look at this and get restore. I'm not saying restore some order, but sort it out." Nothing from anyone. I think only Brandon and maybe Izzy.
We'll see. We'll see.
We never know if that is going to happen.
But I actually would love to see that. To be honest with you, I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the Waistlock King against Izzy James, the Gut Snake, of course. I'd like to, definitely like to see that match. Want to see it happen soon if we can, and hopefully, if we do see it, it'll be one of those ones live on the NWA YouTube or something like that where we can. Fingers crossed so we can pop and see it. But hopefully that'll be soon. But as you say, if you go down below in they'll be on 2 playlists. They're going to be on the special guest interview playlist. They're going to be right far down the bottom of those because they were 202 and 204. Or you go to the Talking Territories playlist and they'll be there as well. Speaking of Talking Territories, quickly, Fee, whilst you're out gallivanting this evening at a show, which you can discuss in a minute, I will be talking to the Harley Race WLW Women's Champion, Skylar Sparks, a bit later.
Nice.
On today.
I don't know Skylar Sparks at all. And this is why I love our Talking Territory series. I didn't know Brandon at all. Izzy, I'd had the pleasure of seeing wrestle in Texas a couple of times, so I was a little bit more aware of him. But I love being able to kind of have a chat and showcase all of these new talents that are in the territories that potentially are the future of Powerr.
Yeah.
And future potential regular roster members on Powerr. So that series is a lot of fun for me to do.
Yeah, it's great fun. I love to speak to these. I mean, Izzy's obviously been an experienced head as well. He's been around the game. Some of them, I don't think Skylar Sparks has been wrestling that long from what I've been reading up on her. But she is the WLW Women's Champion, so there's no slouch in that. Being the champion of a Harley Race promotion is something that very impressive. Something to have very impressive CV. So I'll be looking forward to her. I am in early discussions, by the way. With a member of BFT.
Ooh, okay.
Probably be a bit more of a Talking Territory / Power because Dog Pound obviously is where he is. So hopefully we can get that one dialed in as well. And of course, you mentioned the aforementioned Tom Latimer earlier on. That's going to be happening as
That'll
part
be fun.
in or around our 100th episode of Power. We need to get that in place with Mr. Latimer and the team at Podstars. To
Good
get that
stuff.
booked in. So we'd love to have Latimer on, definitely. And he is the champion.
Do you think he'll be defending that belt at 77? That'll be him. He'll have had it for a year by that point.
Well, we got to remember that EC3 did say on the 365th day he resurrects, or whatever it was.
Ooh.
So my assumption being that Latimer will be going against EC3.
I want to see Silas.
He was good thing you put that into my head. We've done a new episode, a new series that's going on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast called Chat GPT Predicts, where I asked the computer AI to predict things. And one of those things was the next 10 NWA World Champions. And number one on Chat GPT's list was Silas Mason. He was the man that thinks, well, Chat GPT thinks he's going to dethrone Mr. Latimer for the championship. All three members of the Southern Six were on that list, by the way. Morton was 5, I think, and Taylor was 7, I think, for a minute.
Okay.
But you can check that out. Kind of playlist. Go to ChatGPT. You can see the TNA one, WWE one. There's been a few more recorded since as well. That'll be all coming out soon. But Fee, as I just said, you're busy this evening. What's going on?
I have a gala show tonight, random Wednesday night gala show at Armadale, so that'll be fun. At the moment, it's dry. The galas all got rained off at the weekend there, from what I gather. I wasn't involved in any of them because I was away with W3L, but apparently the galas all got rained off at the weekend. So fingers crossed it stays dry tonight. I don't know why people in the UK insist on having wrestling shows at outdoor galas when we know what the weather's like here, when it's so unpredictable. But hey ho, the last 3 years Armadale has been dry, so hopefully it'll be all right. So that's tonight. Friday night, PBW are Airdrie Town Hall, one of our biggest shows of the year. Pre-sale is already over 350 for that, which is great. Really, really looking forward to that. The PBW Championships on the line, Tag Team Championships are on the line. We have a Fatal 4-Way as well on the card. Kenny Williams will be there. Who else? BT Gunn, Martin Kirby, Shay Monet, Angel Hayes, Daisy Jenkins. So a whole host of people there. So really, really looking forward to that. Tickets from ringsideworld.co.uk if you're up in the area and fancy coming along. And then on Saturday, I am at Barretta Gala. So another gala on Saturday. Again, please be kind to me, weather. I got rained on, not the weekend there, the weekend before at the last gala. So I have never emceed in a Gore-Tex jacket before, so that was a new one for me.
There you go. Fee as busy as ever. I just mentioned Skylar Sparks will be coming on. I can tell you, all being well, next week, myself and Dave will be spending an hour in the company of Gangrel.
I love him. We had so much fun working with him with Inside the Ropes. Still my favourite photo in the world is a shot in the railway arches as we were walking towards the venue when we'd got out the car. Gangrel in his big long coat, me in my leather jacket and my jeans, and Jen Louise in her long coat. And it literally, the lighting and everything was perfect. Dingy, dark, cobbled street, arches. It looks like an album cover. My favourite wrestling photo of all time, I think.
Have you got that you can send me?
I will send it to you, yeah.
I'd love to show him because he'll probably bring back memories. We just interviewed Bear Bronson, former AEW talent, yesterday. That was good. Yeah, that will drop next week, so keep an eye out on that. Do I have any more? Oh, yeah, I can't announce a current AEW wrestler because it's a bit further down the way, and B, it's not fully confirmed. So I don't.
Best not to say anything. Don't jinx it.
No, because knowing with my luck in wrestling at the minute, it's with James something we end up getting shit on or pissed on along those lines, as you know full well. But speaking of that, yes, buckle up, September the 21st. Yes, it's first. Names to be announced. I think I'll leave it at that for now. But anyway, look, next week, Fee, it'll be part 4 of Hard Times of NWA. I'll
I wonder
be
how
here.
many more we've got left. Two,
One or two.
maybe?
One or two. Yeah, I would have thought so. There's not been any title matches yet.
Mhm.
So we've got to be, maybe they'll do 2 title Tuesdays or something like that. But there'll be 1 or 2 left, I think. For sure. But part 4 next week, I will be here. Are you going to be here?
I will be here too.
We want you to be here as well. Keep it checked on us at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media platforms. If you're just in for your NWA, we'll see you next week. If you're everything else, we'll see you tomorrow. But until then, buckle down, stay safe. Goodbye.